Boy.
You want to grow up to be just like me?
Boy, Christmas with the Currys yesterday. Giving out a bunch of gifts and toys, what Curry does for the Bay Area. Never seen anything like him. 32 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Saturday night against the Boston Celtics. Curry, I was in the tunnel.
Okay.
So I was in the tunnel.
Okay.
I happened to go in the tunnel. So I was looking for Anna because she was at the game.
Oh, nice.
And I'm watching Curry. And I'm like, I've never seen it from that angle, him turn around like that. And he shoots it, and he turns around, and it felt like he was looking towards the baseline where I was at.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, my gosh. To see that in those jerseys, him just turn around, I was like, yeah, the Warriors winning. Warriors are winning this game. And D. Wright said the first 3 minutes of the game, we're watching it. He goes, Warriors going to win this game. I could already see it. I was like, damn.
In my mind, I'm imagining you visualizing Steph Curry doing the Palo Banchero to you
it felt
as
like
he turns around.
It felt like it. That was as close as it gets. By the way,
Now
shout
take
out
it
to
away,
Paulo.
Bonte.
Yeah, take it away. I love Paulo.
You think he's caught swept up in Brock Mania?
I think he is. How about Nick Bosa? Matt Mayoko tweeted yesterday. Nick Bosa said he shares what he thinks of Brock Purdy. Nick Bosa said, we got a quarterback.
Look, B, I understand that there's a lot of people that are going to be like, hey, pump the brakes. Let's stay reserved.
I'm taking it week by week,
but
man.
here's my question. Why?
Why?
What are we
Because
worried about?
I need to check myself.
What's that?
I need to check myself. I'm not ready to give. You see how fickle these things are. We see how fickle it is. 1 minute we thought Jimmy was the franchise quarterback. The next minute we wanted him out of town.
But do we need him to be the franchise quarterback? Now, I just need him to win games this year.
I want a quarterback for the next 10 years. That's what I want. I'm trying to play quarterback roulette.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Are the Eagles apologizing because Nick Foles came in and they won a Super Bowl?
No, they're not. Absolutely not. They won a Super Bowl. I just won a Super Bowl. Is Purdy enough to win us a Super Bowl? I have no idea. I mean, I'm looking at, again, it's different. Like Tampa Bay 6-7, have they played like a Super Bowl team? Tampa Bay has been mediocre this year.
And simultaneously, I don't want to play them in the playoffs strictly because of Brady. And I know they feel very beatable.
Please bring Tampa Bay back.
Okay, well, look, I'm looking at,
they cannot do anything against this defense.
Bonte, I'm looking at the Golden State Warriors who you referenced, right? Joe, back then, okay, just think about back when he first got drafted. Okay, everybody liked Draymond Green, like, oh, wow, Big Ten Player of the Year, 4-year starter. A lot of comps to Brock Purdy. Now, Brock Purdy was not the Big Ten Player of the Year, but point being, 4-year starter, undersized for his position, right?
Right.
But yet, everybody likes the guy, and there's guys, and then you watch him, and you're like, okay, it doesn't really make sense to the other players that are in the league, but this dude's a winner. And I know it's a tough comp, okay, Draymond Green to Brock Purdy. But what I'm saying is sometimes you just got to kind of buy into where this thing's going. And I don't know if it's sustainable for 10 years.
I don't know.
I don't even care.
So listen.
I just want to win against Seattle.
Whoa. I said last week I'm taking it week by week. I have no choice but to take it week by week. I want a damn Super Bowl. I enjoyed myself yesterday at Levi Stadium. So don't get it twisted that I'm not rooting for Brock Purdy.
No, I didn't say that.
Don't get it twisted that I'm just not going to get drunk. I'm not going to get drunk yet. I'm going to take it week by week.
Oh, this is a sipping tequila.
Dude, film comes in. You heard from Rhea. Teams don't have film on them yet. They're going to adjust at some point. One thing I do know is this kid is tough against the blitz. He's very good against the blitz, but can he sustain that? Can he sustain that, especially without Deebo Samuel?
Without trying to compare him to every quarterback at every turn or to diminish the other quarterbacks, what I'm seeing from him is I feel like this offense is humming right now. You asked me, Joe, why is this different from Nick Mullins or C.J. Beathard? Well, it felt like when I was watching those guys, they would get into the red zone and it get constipated.
Right.
They would have too many turnover-worthy plays. They would have too many big-time sacks or losses that would kill a drive, okay? I'm watching Brock, and right now, again, small sample size, which is totally fair to be reluctant. But in the small sample size, they move the ball really well. They make big chunk plays. They stay out of the big, horrible sack that can kill a drive.
Right.
He doesn't throw turnover-worthy plays. Now, the one they got bailed out, that's one. That's one over the 2 games. But it feels to me like...
He's got 2 picks now.
The other one was on a 4th down.
Right.
You're throwing it down the field.
I hear you.
Okay, that's fine. But it feels like he's done a really good job with ball security and just getting the ball out to the playmakers and utilizing the structure of Shanahan's offense, which has all of these little, here's the big play, here's the little play.
Didn't Mullins do that early on? Because people got drunk off of Mullins quick.
He fumbled in the pocket a lot, and he turned the ball over a lot, and he threw a lot of YOLO passes.
I hear you. Brock Purdy's been solid so far.
It's so
And
early.
Look.
It's so
It's
early.
a hat and T-shirt game Thursday. Beat Seattle. I'm not gonna rain on this parade. It's a great story. It's a great story. Purdy was looking good yesterday. Threw well down the field. Their one lone red zone opportunity, they converted by Purdy running into the end zone. Their running game was really good. Christian McCaffrey taking pressure off him. Christian McCaffrey yesterday averaged 8.5 yards a carry.
He was special.
14 carries, 119 yards. Special.
Even Ayuk made plays.
Ayuk made a couple plays. Great catch
Kittle.
on the stutter and go. Kittle made some plays early on. He was really targeting Kittle, and then Kittle kind of went silent as the passing game went silent in the second half because
Kittle
they had
was
a big
run
lead.
blocking, though.
He
was run blocking.
Was good.
And this is the other difference between him and Nick Mullins. Just, again, my naked eye, it always felt like Mullins had the propensity to panic. And he'd get all flustered, right? And then make a horrible decision and throw. At least, like, the kid takes what the defense gives him, I feel like. And again, it's small.
In that moment, though, people weren't feeling like that with Mullins. They were like, oh, this guy's better than Garoppolo. I'm like, oh, wait a minute here, man. Wait a minute.
I can understand the comp. This feels different. And maybe it's not, but it feels different.
I get fandom. We all love the backup quarterback. We all love it. Am I ready to give him the keys to the organization? Let him and Trey battle in training camp.
Well, I'm ready to see where this thing goes this year. I'm on the slip and slide.
Right.
Let's do it.
Let's go to the consultant in Walnut Creek. We love the consultant here on the Morning Roast. What's happening?
Good morning, guys. Oh, man, I'm loving it. And I'm enjoying the moment. I don't know if it's going to be
exactly.
What's going to happen every week. I mean, as 49er fans, we all go to the games every week. We talk about it whenever I call in.
Right.
You guys are asking what you guys think is different, right? I'll tell you what I think is different.
Give it to me.
With Purdy versus the other guy. I think what I'm seeing right now is what we've been talking about when we make the phone calls, when we've been complaining. We're starting to see what happens when someone can make a second or third level read beyond 10 yards across all three layers of the field.
That's a great way of putting it.
You don't have to be Patrick Mahomes, or you don't have to be Josh Allen in Mike Shanahan's offense. This is what every single person that you guys get on the phone that's an industry pundit that talks about the genius of Shanahan. We're at the games all the day. We see everyone running open.
Right.
Every other play, there's someone open that's not getting the ball. Purdy, at a higher percentage than all the other guys, is getting open people the ball.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, this entire offense opens up. That's what we're seeing right now, and I am loving it.
Me too.
It's a great call, consultant. Great point. He is hitting everybody. Second reads, third reads, going through the progressions. It is fascinating to see in real time. It is I never felt yesterday that the Niners were compromised at quarterback.
No.
That's when we go into games. Sometimes you see Jimmy early on. He's a little skittish.
It feels
He's a little
constipated.
fidgety. You're like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right, just run the ball. Let's play some solid defense. This is not a knock on Jimmy. It is what it is, which is why the 49ers have tried to move off of Jimmy. Not only that, the injuries as well. Can't sustain a 16-game season. Can't stay healthy. So then you see Brock, and it felt like he just had total command of the offense.
Yeah.
Again, you watch the game back. Greg Olsen, who called the game yesterday with Kevin Burkhardt on Fox Sports, he said it. Look at the way the sideline is reacting to him. It was the same way the sideline reacted to Trey Lance in that practice we saw at training camp his rookie season. Oh, my God, did you see that? Oh, man. Everybody in our seats. Diego Zuri. Man, what? Sean. Oh, man, we may have something here. All of a sudden, you start seeing people believe in real time saying, you know what? Maybe the unthinkable can happen. Now, I'm not going to talk about Operation Glendale. I just want Operation Red Paint. Operation Red
win
Paint,
the West.
which means win the West, get a home playoff game, and we'll see what happens from there.
I mean, Bunty, he beat two teams that are playoff caliber, okay? Like, whatever you think about Tampa Bay, if they were in another division, it'd be different, but they're not. They're in the NFC South. They're a playoff caliber team. All right, forget Brady for just a second, just that team. And then the Dolphins, who he came in relief and won, they're a playoff caliber team. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. They were on a nice run. They're slipping now, but that's a playoff caliber team. So you can only play who's on the schedule. And the next one, another playoff caliber team in Seattle, also slipping. Now, timing's everything. We'll see what happens here. Ponte, I'm really excited for him. And then to see his parents doing what they did, that was awesome. I mean, that was really, everybody can relate to that.
It's a great story. No, enjoy the moment. Let's go to Robin in the city. Robin in the city, I'm sure she told me last week she has more faith in Brock than Trey. And Robin was right. A lot of people have a lot more faith in Brock than Trey. Robin, what's happening?
Hey, you guys. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Joe.
Hey.
Get on your case. Now do you see why you were just saying last week, sweetheart, how you don't understand why people preferred Brock over Lance. But now you're saying something different. Do you see why? I'll just say this, you guys. I'm just going to say this. I'm always a fan of someone that's been to 4 years of college, at least 3 years of college, in basketball and in football, because they come into the league, to me, more skilled. And this is why I'm against this one and done, like in basketball, because they all look like high school players. That's the first point I want to make. What I really called in, too, to say is, and I don't have to be right, but that first play where he got nailed,
Yep.
that's the same side that Jimmy got nailed, right? The right side. Is that McGlinchey? Because if so, that's a problem, guys. The last thing I want to say is I'm enjoying the Cinderella story.
Me too.
But I'm with you, Vontae. I'm taking it week by week because I'm a person that has to see consistency over time. And as soon as Cinderella turns into the ugly duckling and has a bad game, this fan base is going to be talking a different tune. And the same way that they've uplifted Geno Smith, now people or the pundits and their fan base is talking about Geno Smith is showing us who he really is because he's regressing. That's the same thing that this fan base was going to do to that boy, and I'll bet you. Bye, you guys.
All right, Robin. Hey, one thing I've learned this season, in all my years of doing radio and covering sports, is this year with the Niners, I just need to take it week by week. The league and the NFL. Think about how many times, for example, Jared Goff in Detroit. Think about how many times people said he sucked. He wasn't an NFL caliber quarterback. Oh, look at Sean McVay move off from him. Now look at him. He's playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
And I'm rooting for him.
Detroit has a chance.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden we're rooting for him, right?
Yeah.
We dumped Justin Fields. The first month of the season, people said this guy is not going to survive. He can't play. And now Justin Fields is playing hurt, and now he looks like an NFL quarterback. Basically what I'm saying is I got to take these things week by week. The Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Justin, those are sure things. Okay, I know they're going to be around for a long, long time. Jalen Hurts looks like he's going to be along for a long, long time. Brady looks like he's going to be along for a long, long, long time. But if you're a second-tier quarterback, you're a third-tier quarterback, things can happen so fast.
Of course.
You could lose your job. You could throw five picks. The fan base could turn
Russell
on you.
Wilson just got a $250 million extension, and he looks
terrible.
I mean, I'm with you on that.
So one thing I'm going to do with the 49ers moving forward, especially at the quarterback position, knowing how this fan base gravitates towards the quarterback position, knowing how this fan base puts pressure on the quarterback position, I have no choice but to take this thing week by week.
Which is a fair
I don't know
point of
who's
view.
going to be the franchise quarterback. I just want to win games. And right now you have a defense that's playing out of its mind. Over the last 6 games, this defense has given up 64 points.
I'm just here to embrace it. Like, I just want to embrace it for what it is because, like, these things next year is not guaranteed. You know, they got to pay a bunch of guys. Who knows what the roster's going to look like? Right now, you feel like you have as good of a chance as anyone to knock off what I believe to be the best team in the NFC, which is Philadelphia, right?
Because of the defense.
Because of the team. Because of the weapons that they have. Because of the defense.
I'm looking at the defense.
It's not either or. To me, it's the whole thing.
To me, the defense is the headliner. And
of course.
Obviously, we love offense and quarterback sell tickets and all that stuff. But look at this defense. They've given up 64 points.
But why are you reluctant to embrace the offense? They're scoring. They're now
I just told
top
you.
10
Who's not
offense
embracing
scoring?
the offense? I'm embracing the offense. Shanahan has done a phenomenal job. I just said I told you last week. Any coach in the NFC, I'm taking Shanahan.
Okay.
I'm not taking nobody over Shanahan. I said that last week in the NFC. Said the same damn thing about Garoppolo. But I'm looking at this defense and I got a shot because of the defense.
For sure.
I don't have to put a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy. I don't have to put a lot of pressure on the offense. If they go 3 and out a couple times, it's not the end of the world.
Like yesterday.
Because his defense has given up 64 points in the last 6 games.
Yep.
They've given up 14 points in their last 6 second halves.
They're elite.
They've given up 10 points a game in the last 6 games. So I know I have a shot because the defense is playing at a high level. So I don't have to put a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy. I don't need to ask him to say, hey, Brock, throw it 30 times a game. Threw it 21 times yesterday, and you were able to go out there and blow off fashion and beat the hell out the Bucs.
In like 2 quarters. I mean, it was just crazy.
So I'm embracing the team. But the headline is the defense, and I know I got a shot because of this defense.
For sure.
And I don't want that to be lost in the shuffle here.
No,
because this defense has carried this team.
I'm with you on that, but I also think that their offensive weaponry has been fantastic this year. You know, Ayuk's having a great year. Kittle is starting to emerge a little again, which is good. And then Christian McCaffrey's been outstanding. And I feel like their blocking up front has been spectacular. The McGlinchey thing, come on, we all know he's good for a couple of really horrible blocks every single game. Like, there's just no other way. I saw him go to the tent. I don't know if he came back into the game. I wasn't paying attention. I saw him get his helmet taken off, and he went over to the blue tent. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, the McCaffrey deal, 14 carries yesterday, 119 yards. That Tampa Bay defense is solid. Now, they're missing a couple safeties.
Yeah.
They got great linebackers in Levante David and Devin White, and I didn't hear from them yesterday. All right, their pass rush never really got to Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey averaged 8.5 yards a carry against that defense. 8.5 yards a carry.
I thought he had a hurt knee.
Tough yards. And so this is why the McCaffrey trade has flipped everything. It's flipped everything. They're 6-1 with McCaffrey. All right, first game you play the Chiefs, you get blown out in the second half. Hopefully you see Kansas City soon. Hopefully. That's the hope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hope. And that's what Brock Purdy, believe it or not. But in these last 6 games, you see the difference McCaffrey makes in his offense.
Yes.
The spacing he creates. You can line him up out wide. He's running fade routes down the field. He's running go routes, Texas routes, angle routes, option routes. You name it. This guy's running between the tackles, outside the tackles. He's creating one-on-one opportunities for Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. This guy, if there's any difference in this offense, it's because of CMC. It's Christian McCaffrey.
He's been incredible. There's no doubt about it. I think his impact on the quarterback play, forget who the quarterback is, undeniable, right?
Yep.
Especially on the check down stuff.
Yep.
I'm very worried to see what the offense looks like without Deebo. I know you referenced, hey, they've won games without Deebo.
They beat the Rams without Deebo 31-14. And the Rams season was still there.
It was. I don't know what this Seattle defense is. I know it's been leaking lately. I don't know what it is. I am a little worried because it's an opponent that you know very well. They know you very well. Without Deebo, winning in Seattle has been tough. Just forever, it feels like. I don't know what it's going to look like offensively. They might have to hang their hat on. Well, they're going to obviously to continue to win games on the defense, but they might have to hang their hat on Mason and CMC carrying the load.
It's all good. It's a short week. Seattle's vulnerable. They don't want the Niners to celebrate and pop champagne in that locker room at Lumen Field. They don't want them to be wearing tats and T-shirts walking out of that stadium on the flight back to San Francisco. But damn, it'd feel good if they did.
There's something funny, though, and I've seen this a lot, where people are like, 4-year starters, 4-year starters. And look, there is something to be said about a 4-year starter. But take a step back. Joe Burrow started for 1 year.
Yeah.
This was the greatest season we've ever seen. He was a backup at Ohio State, had to transfer, went to LSU, had 1 great year. It was one of the greatest years we've ever seen. But, like, everybody who watches football for a living will say, it doesn't matter that Joe Burrow only played 1 year in the now it's different. It's LSU, but
everybody's case is different.
That's what I'm saying. And I get it. You like a 4-year starter, that's you. I get that. I'm not denying it. But don't act like you can't be a 1-year starter and be amazing.
And don't act like 4-year starters don't flame out in the league. How many years did Nathan Peterman start in college?
I didn't even think. Yeah, I mean, Zach Wilson was a 3-year starter.
3-year starter.
Yeah, 3-year starter. You know, so what I'm getting at is talent can come from anywhere.
Right, yeah, and you can't pick and choose when you want to apply 4-year starter to a quarterback. Does it help for Brock Purdy?
Hell
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
It helps. It helps. He's undersized, doesn't have the greatest arm, but it helped him playing at Iowa State.
Hey, you know what he's made up for? Like the lack of arm strength is undeniable. His ability to step into his throws and then get rid of it on time, it makes up for whatever. Look, at some point, the lack of arm strength, a team might be able to take advantage of that, and that's what makes Mahomes so special. That's what makes Josh Allen. But I don't think he needs to be that with this team.
As much as I admit Brock Purdy for the Iowa game last year, where he threw 4 picks or 3 picks and he got benched. He did go into Texas the year before in Austin in a rainy game with Breece Hall and win that game in Austin. You got to give him some props. See, but the whole argument about 4-year starter, 3-year starter, 2-year starter, we can't pick and choose when it works because we've seen both things happen.
That's what I was getting at. That's all I was getting at.
We've seen both things happen.
Because I'm seeing that getting kicked around, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, guys. Like, Joe Burrow literally was backing up everyone in Ohio State, left, and they made the wrong decision, and left, went to LSU, played for 1 year, everybody
I think it was
would
2
want.
years at LSU.
Was it 2?
Year?
Regardless, it wasn't 4.
The second year, Joe Brady comes in as the offense coordinator, and they flip it, and he's got all the weapons, and they're throwing the ball around the yard. He played well, but to your point,
you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Let's go to George in the jungle. What's happening, George? You're on the roast.
Gentlemen, it's a beautiful day. You're talking about 4-year starters. I bet Vegas is going to have a line on whether or not Archie Manning starts 4 years.
That's a great point.
I would take that bet.
Yeah.
I would take that bet. You know, the other thing is special things happen to special people. Brady got the tuck. This kid yesterday, he was tackled on the first play of the game for a loss, and it turned the whole game around. The energy of that game shifted on one play.
It's a great point.
Beginning.
It did.
It was a great point. It's a 25-yard play. You lose 8-9 yards on a sack, and instead you get a 15-yard penalty, and then boom, the whole drive gets kickstarted.
Open up. And I heard rumors, check me on this, but I heard that Brock Purdy turned to Trent Williams during the game and said, "Is John Candy in the stand?"
No.
Here we go.
Oh, my God.